Thanks for attending this webinar. So today I'll give you a very short introduction on what MapleMBSE's query path expression is. If you have tuned into our previous webinar, most of our webinar were mostly application oriented. That is, you were seeing only the Excel interface of MapleMBSE, how you can use MapleMBSE to perform different applications like the importing standard equipment list or FMEA, etc. But in today's webinar, we'll be focusing on how to create these views, but as an introductory part. So the outline for today is I'll give you a very short introduction of what MapleMBSE is for people who are attending this webinar for the first time. And then we will get into details of the configuration file, what the query path expression is, how the user can create their own configuration file to fit their own projects and their model. And we will also see a sample configuration file and connect it to Teamwork Cloud to get some information from the model. And to give you an overview of what MapleMBSE is, say if your organization is following a MBSE process, or if you're moving from a document-centric to a model-centric, you're going to have the system engineers who are very much familiar with the modeling language and the modeling tool. And they create the system model, which is going to get all information of the system, like the structures, the behavior, how the requirements should be met, what are the different constraints, and these kinds of information is going to be in a centralized model. And as a system engineer, they'll be able to build this model up to a certain limit. But when it has to get to a more granular level and need more detail, they need to involve the project stakeholders or the subject matter experts. And this is where the problem comes in, because the subject matter experts, they are not always familiar with the modeling language. So towards a modeling tool, understanding a tool, maybe you can get familiar with in few weeks, but understanding the modeling language, that's something that's very hard. And why there is a friction is these subject matter experts, it's not their day job to understand SysML and work on the system model. Example, say for a safety engineer, he has to perform safety analysis, and instead of asking him to understand SysML, know the MBSE process, then get familiar with the tool and create the model in this authoritative source of truth. What MapleMBSE proposes is, what if we could give this project stakeholders access to the system model, but in a view that they are able to understand and interact with. And what this, or how this can be achieved, is using Excel. So Excel is a tool that is very familiar to all stakeholders, and now they could easily interact with the system model in a view they are able to use and understand. And what uh, benefits that this is going to lead to is, you don't need to explain the SysML syntax or how the model is designed to perform any design review. You can extract the information from the model, present it in a view that is understandable by the user. They could do the design review, add some comments. They can now do the trade studies, FMEA, etc. So this is what MapleMBSE proposes. And across the organization, what advantage this is going to bring in is, it's going to broaden the engagement of system engineering process. So that is, now you can involve users who are not familiar with the SysML model, or any of the system models with different modeling languages, or even the modeling tool. And since it's Excel, it's very easy for them to understand and start right away. They don't need to undergo a huge amount of training. It's Excel, it's very easy to work on, and they could start right away. And this leads to reduction in error and cost of the project. And the main advantage of MapleMBSE is, you can flexibly integrate the backend to fit your modeling languages, to fit it with your project. Like if you have your own profile in which you are going to define the system model, or if you have different modeling rules and modeling terminologies that you are following, all this could be flexibly integrated with MapleMBSE, because it's not possible to do a tool that's going to fit every organization need. So that's why the backend is completely flexible for the users to work on. And today's webinar is focused on this backend. So we can see how we could create this configuration views uh, to bring in information from the SysML model and display it into tables. And before we get started with the configuration part of Maplebeam AC, for a user who is going to create this configuration file, what he's going to interact with this, we know the model that we want to work with. So the model that's of interest to be edited using Maplebeam AC. And then we have the configuration file, MSC file. And this configuration file, when you launch the configuration file, it's going to ask you to select a model. And once you select a model, what Maplebeam BC will do is it's going to get information of the model and transform this model into table. And this table is displayed on Excel. And the table that you are going to see in Excel, we call that as sync view. And that's because the view is synchronized. You can have multiple worksheets that could have same information. And you make a change in one worksheet, it's going to be reflected in all the worksheets too. So that's why it's called a synchronized worksheet. And so this is how Maplebeam BSC works. And to understand or to view more of applications and how Maplebeam BSC's front end is going to help the user to interact with the SysML model, please check our previous webinar. In today's webinar, we'll be only focusing on the configuration part of Maplebeam BSC. So what this configuration file or the MSC file is, it is a text file which is going to have queries of my model elements. So I'm going to create queries for a model, and based on the queries, I'm going to get certain type of element, and I'm going to specify in the configuration file how I want this information to be displayed as table. So that's what a configuration file is. And the Excel template file, so it is just an Excel file. And since in the configuration file, we are going to define uh, where I want the table to be displayed, how I want this information to be displayed. I'll use the Excel template to create like headers to know that this column is going to have information of, like, say, the blocks. The next column is going to have information of the subcomponent of the blocks, etc. So this is what will be defined in the Excel template file. And finally, how a user can link the configuration file with the Excel template file is they just need to maintain same name and they need to be in the same folder. So once this criteria is met, when you launch Maplebeam BSC file, it's going to automatically pick up the template, connect to the model, and display the information of the model elements in this template that we have already predefined. And the advantage here is in the template, I can already define it with all the conditional formatting. If I could include, if there is a necessity of including any macros, say I want to create some graph or do some calculations in Excel by getting information from the model. So all this will already be predefined in the template. And once Maplebeam BSC connects to the model, brings the information, based on the information that's loaded in the table, you can see that if you have linked it with macros or like a graph, it's going to automatically pick up this information and generate the required information from that. So that's why the template file or defining a template file is useful. And another advantage that I could also bring in here is I can add some instructions for the end user on what the specific view is and how he has to enter information in that view. So all this could be defined in the template. So we saw a few details about the configuration file. So in addition to the mapping the information from the model to the table, we are going to have also the control over the Excel workbook, like number of worksheets that I want to display in the workbook, and where I want the table to display the model information from, and how I want this table worksheets to be named. And this kinds of information is given in the configuration file. And before we get started with the configuration file, there are documents that's available from MapleSoft website. You can search for configuration guide Maplebeam BSC. Then there is a virtual features guide. So all these are guides that is going to help you in creating the configuration file. And finally, the editor. We recommend to use Maple MVC editor because it is going to do automatic suggestion of the queries based on the model that you're working with. And also it is going to do syntax highlighting in case if there is any error with the queries that we are going to create. And all this is available from our website. You can just search for Maple MVC editor or the name of the guides, and you'll be able to download it. And now to edit the MSC file, what setup the user has to have. Uh, like I mentioned before, it is just a text file. You can use any text editor to use it, like Notepad++ or your text editor of your choice. But one editor or what we actually recommend is to use the Eclipse-based plugin that's available from our website. So the user could download Eclipse and install this plugin, and we'll get into more details of the advantage of it. But the version that we recommend is to use the Eclipse modeling tool version and the 2020-03 version, because we have tested this, and there is no problem for working with the editor plugin and this version of Eclipse. And once you have downloaded and installed Eclipse, the user now can go on to help, install new software, and then click on add. You're going to see a dialog box like what you see here on the right, and then select the config Maple MVC editor zip file. So when you download the editor zip file from MapleSoft website, you don't need to extract it. You just need to point the Eclipse installation to this zip file, and Eclipse will do all the extract, and it is going to install the editor for you. And once you select the editor, just follow the on-screen instructions, and the editor will be installed. So once the editor is installed, to create your first MSC file, you can create a project first. If you click on File, New Project, select a general project and provide a name for it. So this is going to create a project folder for you, which you could use to create to add all your MSC files. And once this folder is added, you can just right click on the folder, select New File, and provide a file name. The only thing the user has to be careful here is the file name should have extension .msc. And once this extension is provided, Eclipse knows that this is going to be a Maple MVC editor file. And when you double click on this file, it's going to ask you that to convert this project into a Xtext editor. And when you click on OK, you will be able to edit MSC files. Now we saw how to install the Eclipse plugin and how to create our first MSC file. And now I'll give you a very short introduction of what query path expression is, and then we will go into more detail of what each section of a configuration file is. So query path expression is very similar to how XPath is, and it's like querying an XML document for information inside it. And within the query path expression, you're going to have only 3 different types of information that you're going to interact with, namely the classifier, the attribute, and the references. And the combination of these 3 is what you'll be using to create the configuration file. So what a classifier is nothing but the type of model element that you want to work with in Maple MVC. So that's the classifier. Or a classifier is generally the type of model element that's in the model, like the package or the class or the dependency, etc. So these are the classifier. And the attributes, they are nothing but the properties of the classifier. And the references, they are the pointers that point to a different model element. Example, say, take a dependency. A dependency is going to have a source and a target. The dependency does not own the source or the target. So it just as a pointer that points to a different element that you will be able to find from the client and the supplier, that's the source or the target. And these are the references. And the snippet you are seeing here is an XMI extraction of a model. The user doesn't need to be familiar with this. This is for me just to show you what are the 3 different types of information the user will be interacting with to create a configuration file. So the classifier, which is the type of element that you want to work with, attributes, which are the properties of the classifier, it could be the name. So if you translate this into SysML, the classifiers say it's going to be a class, so basically a block, and the attribute could be name of that block, and the properties like the value property, the path property, or the ports of the block, and the references could be example, say the attribute which is a port. The port could have a type which points to a different block, and that's the reference. And based on these three and combining these three, we'll be able to create a configuration file. And within the configuration file, how MapleMVC understand that this is an attribute or a reference is, when you use a slash, this is going to be considered as an attribute. Example, say I want to create a query which is going to get name of an element. I will be using slash name. This means that it's an attribute. For references, I'm going to use dot. Let's consider the same example dependency that we see here. So if I want to get information of the client, I'll be using dot client slash name. So this will give me name of the client. So that's what reference or the difference between the reference and attribute when using it in queries in MapleMVC. And within the query path expression, we are going to create something called qualifiers. So this is a term that we add within the QPE or the query path expression. So what a qualifier is, a qualifier is a way of specifying the type of element that we want to interact with in MapleMVC. And the syntax for it is within square brackets, I'm going to tell the classifier, which is the type of model element that I want to work with, and then a filter for filtering the classifier. Say example, I want to query the ports. So the classifier will be a port in this case, and I want to filter it based on some interface that points to certain interface block. So the way I'm going to define the classifier will be, I'll have the port pipe, and then type is equal to the name of the interface block. So this way, what result will be displayed to the user is going to see the port which will match that specific uh, interface name of a block. So that's what a qualifier is. And the filters that the user will be able to use here is, you can use three different types of filters. One is the attribute filter. Like you can filter it based on the name. Example, say the qualifier for package with a certain name. So instead of classifier, I will be having a package. The pipe symbol name is equal to name of some name of a package. So that's an attribute filter. A reference filter, like the name says, it's something that is referred by the classifier, like a port dot type. So that will become a reference filter. And finally, the predicate filter. So a predicate filter is something that we added uh, to the query path expression to make the queries more robust and more flexible. So what a predicate filter will do is, it will just filter the model based on some condition that is defined by the user in the configuration file. Say a use case or a modeling practice that we follow in our organization is, I will have the requirements, and if the requirement has been met, it's going to have a tag value, and the tag value should be accepted. So that's a requirement, or that's a modeling practice in an organization. And I can use the predicate filter to query the whole model for all the requirements which has a tag value that is not equal to accepted. So these kinds of queries I'll be able to, or these kinds of conditions I can create using the predicate filter and apply it on the classifier level. Another example, say I want to query all the constraint properties which has a constraint port, and the constraint port should always have a type. So say this is a modeling practice or a rule that has been established in the organization. So I can use the predicate filter to query the whole model for the constraint blocks which has a constraint parameter, and the parameter does not have any type that's associated to it. So this way, what result will be shown to the user is, it will filter out all the ones that has a type, and the parameter which does not have a type will be displayed to the user. So that's what predicate filtering will do. So consider my model is something like this on what we see here on the right. So I have a root, and within my root, I have three packages called as foo, bar, and zoo. So these are the three packages in my root. So the way I'm going to structure my query is root. So that's a keyword for all the model and slash package element package. So this root package element package, they are all defined by the SysML core, and this query is much specific to Teamwork Cloud. So if I'm going to do the same thing with Rhapsody, say, or Capella, the query is going to be different because the queries are specific to the eCore or the type of the tool that we are going to work with. And we can see here that the root slash package element package, it's going to give me name of all the three package. Now, on the qualifier level, I want to add a filter with a name is equal to foo. So what MapleMVC now will do is, it will just get information of the package foo, and the bar and zoo will be ignored. And say I want to now create or go on to another level or of the sub package within the foo. I just repeat the query that package element package name is equal to foo. So now I'm just propagating more into the model. So this is what basic query for models are going to look like. So now we saw what query path expression is. We will see how this will be applied in the configuration file. So the first one or the first part of the configuration file is going to be the eCore import. And by eCore import, I'm going to tell MapleMVC that it is the kind of the meta model that I want to work with. So in today's example, what we will be seeing is we will be working with Teamwork Cloud. So from Dassault. So the eCore we will be importing today will be specific to Teamwork Cloud. And this will differentiate, or the eCore import will differentiate the modeling tool that I'm also going to work with. So if it's Rhapsody, the eCore is going to be different, same way thing. The same thing for Capella. And the next section is the workbook. This is where I will control the number of worksheets I want to expose to the user. The third one, data source. And data source is nothing, it's just a path or the way for the user to navigate within the model. So I can go on to the model, go to the sub packages, to a layer of a subsystem, and tell MapleMVC that from this specific subsystem package, I want to get some information like the blocks or their properties, etc. So that's what the data source is used for. And now, to give you a visualization, say my whole model, I can use the data source to restrict it to a certain scope within the model. So this way, I will expose only a part of the model to the user in MapleMVC and not the whole model. The fourth section, which is the sync table schema. So this is the main section or the body of the configuration file, because this is where I'm going to tell the model elements that I'm going to work with, what information of the model element I want to display in the table, and how this will be displayed. So that's what the sync table schema is. Once I define the schema, like how say in the table, I'm going to tell that I want to start with the package, then the blocks, then the properties. So this information is what contained in the schema. But as you can see here, the data source, we define data source separately. We define the schema separately. There is no link between the data source and the schema. But we do something called instantiation. And what instantiation will do is it is going to link the data source with my sync table schema. And the advantage or why we do this is it's very easy now for us to reuse the schema. Example, say in my model, I have a system which is having 5 subsystems. And I create a schema for getting the name of the subsystems, some parts of the subsystem, and some property of the subsystem. I want the same information in different worksheet, but for each subsystem. So I want the same information like the name and its properties for one subsystem in a worksheet, and I should have another 4 worksheet which is going to have my other information of the subsystem. So for this, what I can do is I'll define just one schema. It's going to bring in name, the properties, and just by pointing it to different data source, I can keep reusing the schema. And that's another advantage of why relating the sync table to a data source separately is useful. The worksheet template finally, if you check, if you see the different modules like the eCode import, the data source, and the sync table schema, they are all related to how we want the information from the model and translating this into table. The workbook and the worksheet template, they are basically how the user wants to control this information to be displayed in Excel. So that's what the worksheet template does. In the worksheet template, I can tell if I want to display a vertical table, I want to display it as a horizontal table or a matrix. So this information is what the worksheet template will have. It's to have the control over the Excel worksheet. And now for the eCode import, we already saw what eCode import will do. For say, I'm going to work with Teamwork Cloud 19 server. The eCode that I should import is UML 2.5.1. In case if it's a 18.5 server, it's going to be 2.5. And there is an eCode that we have for Maple MBSE for some of the features that we develop. And this is an eCode for Eclipse UML model. So for today, the echo that or the echo that I'll be using for the sample is for the 19 service pack 2 server, so which is 2.5.1, and I'll be also using the Maple MBSE's echo import. And once we define the echo import, we will now define the data source. So we already saw how to query the root of a model, like the data source root model. So all these are fixed keywords. They cannot be reused to provide a name or to be used in the sync tables. So the root and model, they are all like the fixed keywords. And once I define a data source, I can create a chain of data source. I could create another data source called package, which is going to query the root and see all the packages within the model. And I can reuse the package data source and say within the packages, I want to get information of the class. So the class is nothing but if we add a stereotype, this is block, it's going to be a block. But for simplicity, we will stick with just the model and the package and the class for today. And the chain data source, they are nothing but the data source that we reuse. The primary data source, it's the root model. So we call this as the primary data source. And everything that branches out from the other data sources, we call that as chain data source. And we define the data source. Now we have to define the sync table schema. So this is a general syntax or structure of how the sync table schema is going to look like. And it's going to be with dimension. So what a dimension here means is it's a way of how we are going to propagate into the model. So on the right, you can see the structure of the model that we want to work with. So the model is going to be on one dimension. The package A is going to be in another dimension. Classes, they are in the third level dimension. So that's what a dimension is. A dimension is like propagating into the model. And every dimension should have at least one key column. So what this means is I can uniquely identify a dimension based on the key. So this means I cannot have in a column two classes called as class A. That's not possible if I use a key column. So that's what a key column will do. So it is always going to accept a unique information in that specific column. Now for this simple model structure, say a model which has two package and each package as a class, the sync table is going to look something like this. I'm going to start with record dimension package, then the key column / name as name. So this is the qualifier, the package that we are of interest. We need to specify at least one key column and what information of the package do I need from the model. So I want to get the name of the package and that's the name. So what this key will do now is I can only have one package A to be added to the model. So if I add another package A, Maple MBSE will display it as a duplicate entry because it's a key column. And the next one is the class. Similarly within the package, so every time I go on with depth of the dimension, it's like I'm querying a depth below the previous dimension. So this way, I need to get the information of class that's within the packages. And for the class, I want to find the name of the class and I want to display it. And this sync table schema will translate to a table that we see here at the bottom. So we are going to see package A, package B, and then package A as a class A, package B as a class B. Why this we see this output is since we used record. So what a record will do is it will add one unique piece of information in one record. So from the model, uh, say we have defined the data source to the package level. So the package A and package B is what the first dimension is. The unique information from this dimension is package A. So that's why we see package A in one record or one row. The second unique information is for the package is package B. We see it on the second dimension. And similarly, the third unique information is package A as a class A. So that's why we see it as a separate record. And in case if the user does not use a record and they don't want to display information in a unique record, if you remove record, this is what the output of the table will be. So by default, the last dimension is always record. So that's why the last information is class A and package A is displayed, class B and package B is displayed. Because if you remove this record, this will be the output, because we are not specifying MapleMBC that it should create a record for each unique information. Now, after we define the sync table schema, we need to link it with the data source. So we define the data source called package, which is going to get the package within a root. And we also define the sync table for getting the package and the name. Now, what I will be doing here is I'm going to create a sync table. So this is a fixed keyword. The sync table called as Excel table. So it's a user defined name is going to link, or it's going to have information of the schema and the data source. So I have the sync table name here. I have the package here. Now this Excel table will have the information of the package and class that comes from this specific data source. So that's how we can read this instantiation. So it's basically linking my schema I have defined and the data source I have defined. And once we do this link, the next option is the worksheet template to control how the information has to be displayed in Excel. So it's for the worksheet. I'm creating a worksheet template. The user defined name for the schema. I want to show a vertical table, tab 1. So all this will be added as a name range when we launch MapleMBC at 4,5. So this is the row and the column from which the table has to start, and then the values of what information I want to display. So this will be consistent with the sync table schema here. So here we have queried the name and the class name, and that's what we see here. So each of this field means that there will be one information displayed in one column. So the number of fields that I add here, it will be added as one column in Excel. So what an unmapped field is, it will just include a empty field within the table, that's all. So it's not related to the model, but just to have some better visualization, we will use an unmapped field to include an empty column and the name of the package and name of the class. And finally, the workbook. I have actually used a snippet from a different sample to show different alternatives. So when I use a workbook, what MapleMBC will do is it is going to create an Excel workbook. And within the workbook, I can define the worksheets that I want. Say in this snippet, we can see that worksheet all elements, and this is the sync table. So all elements is the worksheet name. So MapleMBC will create a worksheet called as all elements, and it is going to display information of the sync table. So that is for it is going, in this case, it's going to create a worksheet called Excel view table, and it's going to display information that comes from the sync table Excel table. So this is by default. In case the user wants to provide a label or name for a worksheet, you can use within brackets label is equal to, within quotes, the name of the worksheet. So by this way, what MapleMBC will do is it will create a worksheet called nested elements and add information of that worksheet template. In case if this is not provided, it will use the worksheet name to create the worksheet in Excel. And finally, you just have to, once you create the configuration file, you can double click on the file and connect to the model, and you are going to get the output of this result. So I will show you the sample creation. I have already installed the Eclipse editor, and say I want to create a sample MSC file to do the same information, like creating a package and a class. And I want to get information from the model, and I also want to create new package and class and add it to the model. So that's same what my use case is. I'm going to, similar to how we initially saw, I'm going to create a project and call this as sample. Sorry. I'm going to create a general project. And to this sample, I'm going to add a new file and call it package.msc. So I have to be careful here that we need to use .msc extension. And once I finish, you can see that you'll get a similar message that if it wants to convert the sample package to xtext project. And now you can see my sample file. It's empty. I'm going to first import the ecore. So I'm just going to copy this ecore part from another sample. So here I am importing the UML 2.5.1 ecore, which is to work with Teamwork Cloud 19 server. And then I'm also including MapleMBC core. And also note that this hyperlink, it does not connect to either MapleSoft website or NoMagic website. So this is just as a way of MapleMBC to understand which model element, or sorry, which meta model we are going to work with. And once we import, we want to define the data source. So if I use control space with the editor, it's going to automatically bring in or automatically suggest some queries. So my initial data source or the primary data source is going to be model. So, and say I want to create a data source to get packages inside the model. It's equal to root slash, and if I use control space, you can see the different queries that's possible. And for viewing or creating a package, I'm going to use the package element package. So here, and in case if I have any problems, like or any syntax error with the query, say I want to create one for the class. So in case if I have some typo or if there is a syntax error, you will see that it's being highlighted as a error, and when you hover above that error, you'll be able to see some quick fixes. And this way, it's very easy to create the configuration file and also to know that no one fix an error when you kind of create the configuration file. The problem when you use a text editor is you can create the whole configuration file, but you will know the error only when you launch the config file. So when you launch it, you're going to see something like, say, if this file we created with an editor, and it's going to say that at line 9, it's not able to find CLAS. And then you need to change it in the configuration editor and launch it again. But with the Eclipse editor, you don't need, the moment you import the ecore and start typing it, it's going to do all these automatic suggestions and do the syntax checking. Now, let's create a package schema. And I'm going to use a dimension that's going to display the package. So in the schema, I'm always going to start with whichever data source that we are going to provide to the schema. Say we are going to work with the same sample that we saw where I want to query the model for the package and then the classes. So in this case, I'll be providing it the package schema. So that's why I'm starting with the package. In case if I want to start directly with the classes, I'll be starting with class here. So I'm going to get name of the package, and I'm going to call that as package name. So say I'm also interested in getting the visibility of the package. So I can use visibility, and I can say this as, and I'm going to call this as a visibility package. And we also want to find the classes. So it's record dimension class inside the package, and I want to get name of the class, and this is a key column, name as class name. So this is the sync table schema. So if I use this schema, what the schema is going to do is it's going to bring in name of the package, visibility of the package, and the class name. Now we need to link the sync table schema with the data source. So I'm going to say I'm going to call this as a package table. So this will be packages table, and this packages table is relating the package schema with the data source package. So this is what I have now linked it. I have linked the data source with the sync table schema. Now I want to control how this will be displayed in Excel. So I'm going to call this as package table. And this template is defined for packages schema. I'm going to use a vertical table. And I want the table to start from the 4th row, 5th column. So the first field would be my package name. Field visibility. So since we have one key column, and this one we are not defining it as a key column, that's why I'm using it as a field. And the only rule within dimension is at least one column should be a key column, and it could have multiple key columns also. So there is no restriction on the number of key columns it should have. And finally, key field for bringing in the class name. And so we have got information of all the columns that we want to display, and I could include a sort order. So the way in which the table has to be sorted and displayed in Excel. I want to sort it based on the package name and then the class name. So there, I have created a simple file. Now let me go ahead and launch this. So here we have the file. All I have to do is double click, and this is going to launch Excel. So Excel is actually launched in my other screen. You can see that Excel has launched. And say this is the model that we want to connect to and bring in information of the packages and the classes. So in this case, we are going to actually see all the requirements and the blocks because they are all classes. So here you can see that requirement is nothing but just a class with the stereotype. Same way for the block. It's a class with the stereotype block. So what now, when I connect to the model, what MapleMVC will do is it's going to bring in all name of the packages we see here, and we are going to see all the classes within each package. So I'm going to get the login screen now. Once I get the login screen, I can provide my credentials to login to connect to the Teamwork Cloud, and we will be able to connect to the model. So this is my login to the server. I provide my username, the server information, and the project that we are going to work with is TWC sample. And now, based on the configuration file, we are going to see the information. So I made one small mistake. That's why we didn't see anything there. We have not defined the workbook. So that's why we did not see the worksheet to be displayed. So I'm going to quickly add the worksheet, and that's for the package table. So there. Now if I launch Maple MBSE again, we are going to see that table now. So again, I have my screen to select the model. Providing my login information. Okay, so now we can see all the package, the visibility of the package. It's empty because there is no visibility defined, and we can see the requirements and the classes from the model. So here, and say now I want to add a new package. Called package sample. So I have created a package sample, and say I want to say the visibility is private, and another package sample. And I want to add class A to it. So this way, the package sample is created. It's having the private as a visibility and class A. Now I can double click on the save button, add a new package, and I'm going to commit this to the server. So here, I'm going to update my information. And we can see the new package that was created. The package, the visibility private we had it, the class A, the block, the class we created. And that's how you create a configuration file. And just based on these concepts like the classifiers and the references and the attribute, and we based on this link and the combination of these three is what we develop the configuration file. So as a takeaway from today's webinar, the important thing that you need to understand here is the query path expression is going to have three information: classifier, the type of element; attribute, the properties of the classifier; references, they are just pointers to another model element. And this is what query path expression is. And outside of this, all the queries that we see for the QPE, they are related to the modeling eCore. So if you check the root package element package, this is how the eCore is actually defined by each of the modeling tool. And we use this to navigate to the model and get information of the model.